Oh, you think you're cute.
I'm adorable.
Ay, qué lindo. What is it?
Ah, it's a Nissan Pao. It belongs to Brian.
This is what happens when you put all your stats in charisma and nothing into attack, defense, or intelligence. You wind up being the automotive equivalent of a pickup artist, like
Trent Falconrath!
He'll wait until you're on deployment to start sending your girlfriend thirst traps. Because he knows a Nissan Pao is as irresistible as a second potato chip. He's up in Marion from Upper Marion, and he's taking deductions out on that ass. Nissan Pao, like being attracted to someone whose jurisdiction is chaos. The acceleration is laughably slow. The braking is dangerously slow. And the ECU is a pachinko machine under the passenger seat. I have no idea what the ECU is doing. There are sensors in the carburetor, there's input, and there's output, but the analog data stream is a mystery to me. Nissan Pao, the official car of pointless beauty. It's drawing one really good panel of a comic you're never gonna finish. This is my Nissan Pao. I bought it from Japanese Classics, and before heading home, I took the dash pod off and identified the speedminder wire and the sensor that trips when you stray over the Japanese national speed limit of slower than every 1 kilometers an hour, and it sends power to a hidden greeting card jingle speaker which creates a chime that sounds like it's coming from everywhere. So when I drove it home to East PA, I spent on the entire time between 80 and 100% throttle. I got it to 70 miles an hour at one point. And the 1-liter MA-10S 4-cylinder engine didn't like that a whole lot. It sounded like a Cessna 172 trying to climb to 10,000. Nissan Pao, sponsored by Return of the Mac, one of the greatest songs ever written. A guy who tried monogamy and got his heart broken so badly he had no choice but to sling that dick all over town. But not before announcing that this one-eyed monster is back on the streets. The only person who loves this song more than us is
Trent Falconrath!
Trent has a middle-aged woman in every area code to maximize the number of co-signers available. The car is in Janet's name, the apartment is in Mary's, and the online marketing business is in Tina's. The only thing Trent Falconrath loves more than 30 seconds of missionary is defaulting on loans. So anyway, somewhere around I-78 on my way home, a white SW20 started shadowing me, and then driving next to me, and then driving in front of me, and then back to next to me again, taking photos, pointing, and this was the first of many of these interactions. You park, and people look at you. You fill up on gas, and people look at you. And here come the questions, and they're all the same.
Is that a Fiat? What's the weather like in England?
Some guy, that was his first line to me outside of the hardware store. What's the weather like in England? And I'm like, what? It's like, the steering wheel's on the other side. It's like, okay, thanks for giving me these mental gymnastics to me to figure out how your mind works.
Are you allowed to drive that?
But mostly, what I get is,
Oh my god, it's so cute! I love it! Can I take a picture?
and this next bit I didn't expect. The group of people who love the Nissan Pao the most are brodozers. The bigger the truck, the pokier the wheels, the more fake rivets it has, and the cringier the window stickers, the bigger the smiles. I have 3 theories for this. Number 1,
Haha, my dick truck looks so big next to small car.
Number 2, the Nissan Pao is so precious, it cures their toxic masculinity, allowing them to openly enjoy a feminine shape from a perspective other than sexual reductivism. Or number 3, I'm just projecting too much into these interactions, and muscly men in big trucks and black t-shirts are more intellectual than I give them credit. We put the Pao on a dyno with none other than Matt Happel from Sloppy Mechanics, and full send. Nissan says this engine made 50 to 52 horsepower. I'm sure that's gotta be crank. What? Oh, look at that.
34.
34! That's not too bad.
That makes sense. It's about 5,000. And it was still, still out like 45
34 horsepower and 40 foot-pounds of torque at the wheels at 5,000 RPM. I think she's running a bit rich. This car, a Nissan Pao, is like eating Funyuns. It's all salt and air and no substance. Nothing about a Nissan Pao is revolutionary. This engine, this carburetor, it's breaking no ground in technology. It's purely looks. The interior has no cup holders. There's speakers, but only in the rear, and mine were rotted, so I replaced them with OEM full-range speakers from a Subaru. And now it has a USDM head unit. It had some weird, JDM aftermarket head unit that I think just had a CD player and an aux port. Now it has a CD player, an aux port, and a USB with like iPhone kind of CarPlay on it, but it still doesn't have Bluetooth. Whatever. Thank you to David for giving me this head unit for free. It also had room for a little tray above it, so now you can have room to put your phone because there's no place to put your phone. I also replaced the rear gas struts and with these rear gas struts, there is no getting new ones. You got to drill out the brackets on here, and then you just get generic ones from Amazon that come with little ball bolts, and then that just hooks up and then you're good. Big thanks to Nush from Moyer's Car Care for cross-referencing all these drive belts to their USDM part numbers. You don't have to pay $40 for an alternator belt. These are the part numbers. I think total cost for these was $12. Here's your history. The Pao was part of a series of cars known as the Pike cars, which was the name given to these little gadget-looking cars that were meant to give the slightest hint of sex appeal to the Nissan Micra, or the March. Just take the most boring, ubiquitous car in the Nissan lineup and make it look like postmodernism cream-pied the concept of retrofuturism. These Pike cars were made in limited volumes from the Pike factory and sold exclusively in Nissan Cherry stores with minimal Nissan branding, to the point where you could be forgiven for thinking this was something European. The Pao debuted as a concept car at the 1987 Tokyo Motor Show before hitting the market in January 1989. The name comes from the Chinese word for a Mongolian portable dwelling. Its name also shares the Portuguese word for bread, which seems more fitting, because it's smooth, symmetrical, and springs back when you press down on it. What made Pike cars so popular was how delightfully weird they were. These whimsical little pastel-colored things with features like sushi trays. In just 3 months, the entire 51,657 car production run for the Nissan Pao was entirely sold out. And while these are probably among the cheaper classic Japanese cars you can find today, good luck actually finding them. Hell, Pike cars were so popular, lotteries were held just for the opportunity to purchase one of these things. According to the designer, the Pao's style was inspired by the clothing retailer Banana Republic, using the foundation of the Nissan March, but with Jeep-like door hinges, a split tailgate, these little ridges on the hood, which don't have to be there because the hood isn't metal. It's some sort of plastic composite or maybe glass fiber reinforced. These are just there for decoration. The whole car is decoration. Just like the split tailgate and an ad campaign that featured a man playing a ukulele in a barber's chair. You also had brochures that depicted them in prehistoric landscapes with dinosaurs in the background for whatever reason. The Pao shares DNA with Wes Anderson and acceleration with a shy kid waiting for his crush to make the first move. A Pao wants you to feel more stylish than you actually are, because Nissan knows that you have just enough style yourself to be able to recognize a fashionably appealing car. But it also compels you to be a social butterfly, because even if you're not trying to talk to people, people will 100% try to talk to you. And it's your responsibility to not be a dick about it, like,
Trent! Falkenrath!
Trent Falkenrath has a debit card and a sugar mama to drive him farther distances over time to outrun the closing branches of his antiquated bank. He has 500 followers and lists his job as the future. His favorite movie is the Steve Madden scene from The Wolf of Wall Street. When he's broke, he asks Upper Marion for seed money. His favorite book is the April 1999 issue of Rolling Stone. His favorite song is Yeah by Usher and Leave It by Yes. His favorite meal is whatever someone else is buying. His dirty talk has the follow-through of a weekend dad's threats. His lovemaking has all the grace and character of a SoundCloud EDM artist jumping through a plate glass window into oncoming traffic. But the type of people attracted to Trent Falkenraths of the world don't have a frame of reference for a person like that. It's the same reason people are attracted to a Nissan Pao. They don't realize that it's not a great driving experience. It leans all the time. It's very, very wobbly. It has hydraulic power steering and it doesn't need it. And it has air conditioning. Why? All this car is going to do is disappoint them as a ride, as a car. All they see is different. It's quirky. It's new to them. And there's nothing wrong with that as long as you keep your expectations where they belong. Look, you're going to travel most places at 80 kilometers an hour or about 50 miles an hour, and full throttle will be used daily for the simplest of tasks like slight uphills and keeping up with traffic.
That must be good on gas,
remarks every looky-loo. And I say, not really. Any engine will suck fuel when run full blast. I'm seeing like high 20s in this, with an 8-gallon fuel tank. These are the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains you see in the background of these videos, and even these tax the poor Pao. When I'm around in town, and I'm only using first, second, and third, actually it gets to third gear pretty darn quick, and I'm running the MA10S engine at no more than 30%, I don't really see the fuel gauge move too much. But after 5 minutes on a state highway, well, a Pao was never meant to live outside of a Japanese city, and it's poorly suited for its new American environment. It'll get you there, just not quickly. And get used to everybody passing you and using your hazards on uphills. Shift into second gear, press the tiny pedal all the way to the floor, and accept what comes next. You ever drive a 4-banger Ford Ranger with a bed full of wet mulch? Yeah, that's what a Nissan Pao feels like. But unlike a slow domestic car, a slow Pao delights your overtakers. You will watch as people in the passenger seat of cars passing you twist their necks to look at you. You'll see drivers' heads rise and look at you through rearview mirrors. Folks who do stay behind you will point and take pictures and then point again when they see you driving from the right-hand side of the car. A Pao will force you to have good social skills because it's a car show every time you stop.
What is that? Oh my God, it's so cute. I love it.
I'm ovulating.
Nissan Pao. You're a soft cam boy. What do you do besides look f***able? What are your long-term goals? Jumping from sugar mama to sugar daddy to sugar them to sugar daddy to sugar mama of them, draining them all of cocaine and hope. And you take pictures of both sides of their Citibank cards before smashing every tablet, monitor, and mirror in their houses, and then scratching the word liar on their hardwood floor and skipping town to find the next financial tugboat in Raleigh, Asheville, or Austin. Eventually, when your looks fade, you'll settle down with a mud truck daddy who lives on the side of Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, where the tourists don't visit. Or worse, you just end up getting rooked by
Trent Falkenrath.
So after all this, do you want a Nissan Pao? Well, you can get this very one. I'm putting it on Cars and Bids, and the auction is scheduled to drop now. Yep. When this video went up, the auction went up, and I'm going all balls. No reserve. Good luck. Do you need to know a little bit more about it? All right. This is not the original color. It's been repainted. It is running rich. I don't feel like messing with the carburetor. These wheels are not the correct wheels. The correct Nissan Pao wheels have oval cuts, not circular cuts. This window tint on the sides and back, that's aftermarket. It was done at some point. The rear defroster works. Struts were replaced by me. All belts were replaced by me. Has a new air cleaner. All the tires are new. It has LEDs for instrument lights, and I spent about 3 hours per seat sucking all of the brown out of it. So these seats, fresh. Okay, links in the description, and I'll put it up again here if you can click on it or not. No, you can't anymore. YouTube doesn't let you do that anymore. All right, links in the description. It's on Cars and Bids. Good luck.